I will argue with you all day long that correctional officers across the country are not getting paid enough. And I don't care what anyone says. They're not getting paid enough, and I want to talk to you about why correctional officers are not getting paid enough across the board in the United States. Hi, I'm Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe if you like this video. Now, according to the U.S. Bureau of Statistics, the average correctional officer salary across the United States is $16.30. And we have people right now fighting for a $15 minimum salary. People that did not go to college, did not go through an academy, do not put up with what correctional officers have to put up with, fighting for a $15 minimum salary. Now, if that passes, the average correctional officer salary of $16.30 starting, I better mention starting, is barely above minimum, okay? Now, with that said, Marshall County Correctional Facility in Mississippi starts out at $11.25 an hour. I just got on the website and looked up starting pay over at their facility. They're advertising right now for $11.25 an hour. Okay, Wisconsin correctional officer advertisement today starts them at $16.65 per hour. Now, some of these are training salaries, and when they get out of training, it may go up to 18 or 19. The one in Mississippi may go up to 13 or 14. That's still very poor pay for what a correctional officer has to do. And I know many of you have said, well, I'm very satisfied with my pay. Well, yes, those that I'm hearing that from are up in some of the northern states that are paying officers a high salary. Now, remember, New York has a lot higher expense. So if you're making more money than Mississippi, well, of course, because your food is higher, your taxes are higher, your rent, your mortgages is much, much, much higher, okay? So you have to take all that into consideration. And I'm saying that correctional officers across the board need more money. Oklahoma Department of Corrections advertised starting pay $15.74. London, Kentucky, $12 an hour. Those of you in other states that are getting much higher pay, you must realize you're not the only ones out there. You have to realize that there are states paying much, much lower salaries. I think Walmart pays more than some of these I just read, because I know some people that work at Walmart making more money than that. That is sad, folks, very sad. Florida Department of Corrections starts you out at $33,000 a year. Now, there's going to be people out there that say correctional officers don't deserve that. And these are the people that usually don't have jobs. These are the people that usually think they're too good to work somewhere for a minimum salary. So they'll just stay home and collect no money. That's usually the kind of people that say, or they're either cop haters. They hate cops. And, you know, we know those people are going to say you don't deserve that salary. Let's stick with us in the job or profession, whichever you want to call it. Let's stick with the citizens who back us and the honest citizens that we protect every day and stand between them and the criminals and the ones that appreciate us. Let's see what we all think. We know that legislature is not helping us. So our own government in the states across the country is not helping us. They're not pushing hard for pay raises. A bill gets put in every now and then to give correctional officers a pay raise. It gets shot down, or your Secretary of Corrections fights for a pay raise and it gets shot down. Okay? So legislature has no clue of the dangers we face, and they need to be educated on that. We need people to go up to our state legislatures and speak once a year and tell them of every year, just drill it. Bother them with letters and letters and letters and mail and videos and speeches until they get so sick maybe they'll break down and give us some money, because it's just not right that they're not paying. Now, here's something that will be a sore in some people's thing. Now, I want to tell you why correctional officers need money. Let's start with what they go through. They get urine, feces, spit. They get attacked. They get beaten. They get killed. If you don't believe me, just pull it up. You'll see it. Every month something happens where an officer is hurt or injured or worse, killed. We're seeing it more and more. Tell me they don't deserve more than $11, $12, $13, $14, $15, $16 an hour. Now, when you get to the warden's salary, the U.S. Bureau of Statistics from 2018-2019 are stating that the median annual salary is $87,000 a year. The top 10% are making $144,000 or more. That's $41.87. No, excuse me. $144,000 is $69 an hour. $87,000 is $41 an hour, I believe. And the bottom salary, the lower 10% of wardens, is $54,700. That's still $26 an hour. Now, don't tell me that, and I have nothing against them making that money, but you better get on the ball and help your correctional officers, the people that make you what you are. Now, people out there are going to say, you want to make that money? Then go get an education and become a warden, become an assistant warden. No, folks, that's not right. That's wrong, because everybody's not cut out to be a warden. We've discussed this before. Many people will work their career as a correctional officer sergeant, correctional officer, lieutenant, and retire. Not everybody wants to be a warden or assistant warden. Yes, I know that the responsibilities are very high for assistant wardens and wardens. I respect that. And I don't want them to lose any of their pay. What I'm saying is, if you're going to pay the wardens that much money, let's get that front line that has to fight the battle on the battleground paid much more. I know it's our system. A general in the Army or a general in the military makes way more than the private on the battlefield. I know that. I know it's our system. But we've got to have some change. We've got to pay more money to our people on the battlefield, in corrections, and in the military, now that I'm on that topic. But I just wanted to give you an example, and it gets even higher. You get your regional directors and your secretaries of corrections. It goes way up there depending on where you're at. But yet our folks on the battlefield, 2% raise, 2.5. I'm proud to announce, how many of you have heard this? Proud to announce that our correctional officers this year are getting a 2% pay raise. But I must inform you that our insurance is going up 2.5% in January. I mean, how many of you have heard that over and over and over? Come on. That's almost like a kick in the butt. That's almost like a ha-ha, hee-hee, ha-ha, like a joke. Don't give correctional officers a 2% pay raise when they're getting a 2.5 or 3% insurance pay raise. It actually ends up a losing situation. Sometimes it evens out. Sometimes it takes a majority. You need to give decent pay raises. Prison administrators and secretaries across the country, you're going to have to fight harder. You're going to have to continue to fight if you're fighting, and we appreciate it if you're fighting for correctional officers to get more money. But the correctional officers enjoy no perks. You know, the assistant wardens and up enjoy a lot of perks. There's a lot of luncheons, a lot of dinners, a lot of golfing, a lot of meetings, a lot of this and that. And then there's another thing. Some people say, well, until these officers can act correctly, they deserve no more pay, talking about the few bad apples that taint the image of the good officers. Well, folks, I'm going to tell you about that one. That's not an excuse. Prison administrators on up, legislature, that's not an excuse. It's the prison administration's job to find out how to hire good quality people. It's not the fault of the honest officers working the front line. It's the prison administration's job to get up out of their chair, off their rear ends, and walk around the prisons and see what's going on. It's the prison administration's job to educate the supervisors on how to look for signs of corruption or signs of a bad officer and get them counseled or get them out. So don't use that as an excuse not to pay the good, honest, hard-working officers. There are so many things that we can say on why correctional officers need better pay raises. Not 2%, not 3%. Let's see some 8 and 10% pay raises. Okay, I know, oh, that's terrible. Well, I see a lot of people leaving the state corrections for county jails across the country. And the counties, need to get up to par as well in many areas. But there are some counties that are giving 5 to 8% pay raises, and their salary is much higher. Look at a captain in some of the jails making $85,000 a year compared to a captain in the state making $45,000 a year. I mean, that's a huge difference. We need to get on the board, across the board, and start evening things out. I understand some states are poorer and some states are richer, but come on. Legislature, I know money is being used for a lot of things, and you could take some of that money for some of those things and put it in the correctional officer's pocket. This is a topic they don't want to hear. The legislature doesn't want to even talk about this. Many of the prison administrators would like to see the correctional officers get paid, but they're scared to push for it for some reason. They don't want to upset legislature because they may not get the money for this, for supplies, or they may not get the money for that. Well, we just need to fight together, everybody. And if it takes all of the correctional officers across the country to start flooding the gates with letters and videos and standing at their doorsteps on your days off, then that's maybe what has to be done, because correctional officers are the forgotten heroes in this country. The criminals are taken off the street and go to court and go through the system, and then they're thrown in prison or jail, left for the correctional officers to take care of with no weapons except maybe some pepper spray. And that's in some places. Some places now are just getting tasers, and most of them are only allowing the supervisors, like the sergeants, to carry the taser. That doesn't help when you're in a bad situation. So there's a lot of things to consider, but I think I got my point across, and I think I've made my point on why correctional officers are so far behind in pay. What a huge difference after you leave the captain or major ranks and get into those other ranks. Not that they don't deserve it, but what a huge pay difference. And those of you that are getting paid that money better be walking your prisons and talking to your officers and asking them what they need and trying and fighting to get them what they need and a pay raise. Thank you very much, Gary York, True Prison Stories.